Kyrie, Philly, and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at John chapter 4, verses 29 and 30. Let's go ahead and get started. Last time on John chapter 4. And there we have it. Here's a rubric, everything that we're looking for as we go through the text. Let's go ahead and get started. Diute idite anthropon hos epen moi panta hosa apoiesa. Mete hutos estin ho Christos? Ex elthon ek tes poleos kai erkonto pros auton. And there we go. Diute, our first word, is this strange adverb sort of particle thing that I don't know the origin. I looked it up in the dictionary, the lexicon, really, and it didn't. I don't remember it saying where it came from. But basically, it's just a adverb that they use, or a particle that they use, an exclamation almost. It just means get over here. So it means come. Generally speaking. And then idite, with our tau epsilon ending, is actually an imperative. It's a second person plural. And it is aorist? Because yes, it's from horao. So this is going to be off of the adon form, which is aorist. Active. And it is, as I said, imperative. C. It takes the direct object anthropon omicron nu for accusative singular masculine. Hos from ho he to. No, ho he. Hos he. Ho. A relative pronoun nominative singular masculine, referring, of course, back to anthropon. Who. Apen, seen this before, but note that we've got this extra acute accent right there. That's just coming from this enclitic moi. So the moi doesn't have an accent of its own. It gives an accent to the word that comes before it if the word has sufficient syllables to contain the accent. So had this circumflex instead been on the ultima, there would not have been a new accent added naturally. Instead, the ultima of the previous word has to be clear of an accent. However, I think what can happen is it can change a acute into a circumflex, and of course it changes a grave into an acute when that happens. I'm not so sure about the changing the acute into circumflex. That's something that you'll need to look up to confirm or deny. So, who said moi, dative, singular is the indirect object, to me, panta hosa, panta with our alpha right there. This could, of course, just be the accusative singular masculine, except we have hosa, which is from hosos. Would it be Jose or hosa? You know, I don't know that, but hosos, Jose probably, and hoson. So this is actually, because of the nature of this word, this can't be accusative singular masculine. Instead, together they have to be accusative, which we don't need at C, plural, and neuter. All whatever things, which is not spelled with an E. And then epoiesa, augmenting vowel right there. Alpha as our ending. Change of the connecting vowel. Here is, of course, our first person singular aorist, because of the sigma, and active indicative. I did. And if you want, in order for better sense in English, you could, of course, also translate it like I think many Bible translations do, is whatever things I have done. So all is not really necessary because it's contained in the whatever things. Matey, here we have a question, not like the pirate, mind you, but yeah, I don't know why that came to mind. Matey is a particle that introduces a question, and it normally wants I think, a negative answer. So, hutos, from hutos, haute. Huto? I can never remember, but I say that every time we run into this. So, hos, nominative, singular, masculine, of course. So, we want to say something along the lines of, surely this esti, don't need to parse that, we've seen it before. Also, ho Christos, that's just the predicate. So, surely this isn't the Christ, or this can't be the Christ, can it? I think that's the second way how I'm going to phrase it. Of course, I capitalize he right there, largely for convention. If I were to base how I capitalize the pronouns of Jesus on the intent of the speaker, that would make it a little bit more complex, because then there would be times in the future, which we may someday get to, when the Pharisees are talking about him, where I'd have to make the lowercase, because they don't think he's the Christ, or they deny he's the Christ even though they know he's the Christ. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep it that way for convention. Question mark, and then 30 starts a non-direct statement. I'm going to close the quote marks right there. X alphon omicron nu for the ending we've seen beforehand. X prefix we've also seen before. I think with this one, no need to parse it. Ek prepositional phrase, tes poleos, interesting third declension genitive, at least moving from the Attic Greek I was used to years ago into the Koine Greek. I have done so little with Attic Greek, I don't remember if the third declension ever has a genitive like that. It would make sense for it to. But that's a deficiency in my memory and my experience. I really need to correct that. Actually, the other day, translated a little bit from the Medea again. So that when the messenger has come to talk to Medea about what happened to Creon and his daughter, and he has this great little phrase where he talks about how the life on this earth, it's really not pleasant. Even if you are full of riches, you're not really happy. And this all has to do with what comes of it in the end. Is you will eventually die, and your riches mean nothing. And then you go down to Hades. And though he doesn't talk about it, if you're one of the fortunate few and you end up in Elysium, it's still miserable, because then you've got what Achilles says to Odysseus, I think in its book 11, 388 to 392. I looked it up, but I don't remember the exact one. But it's book 11 when Achilles is talking to Odysseus, and Achilles says, "Don't congratulate me on being king of the dead. I would rather be a lowly slave in someone's barn than the king of the dead." Something along those lines. So anyway, that was fun. Huge tangent. Let's do verse 30. Sorry. Ex elphon ek tes poleos. We know, of course, feminine from before, and we'll come to that in a minute. They, of course, on being the plural rather than she speaking again, went out from, to get both of the prepositions in there, the city, and erkonto, augmenting vowel, contracting with the alpha right there, omicron nu tau omicron is our ending. And you got to be careful with this one, because if you look it up on Perseus, which I did to make absolute sure I was reading this properly, it'll give you the wrong word. Perseus will tell you that erkonto is actually going to be from arko, to rule, to begin, which is completely wrong. And they began pros auton. That makes absolutely no sense. What you need to remember, and what I fortunately did remember at the time, is that erkomai and arko look very, very similar. And part of the clue to tell them apart is that we've got the onto, the middle ending of this imperfect tense. And then, of course, context will also help correct you when you're not so sure, as I don't know why. This is an obvious form that I should know, and shame on me for forgetting, but then I forget everything. Third person plural imperfect active indicative, and I should probably put erkomai. Ding. Okay, pros, prepositional phrase plus accusative, and this is singular and masculine because the new right there, and were, not came. And there we go, verse 30. Let's take a look at it in its own context. Come see a man who said to me, whatever things I did. This man can't be the Christ, can he? They went out from the city and were coming to him. Pretty simple. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope taking a look at this has been helpful for you, and sorry about that tangent. I hope that you have a very good day. Farewell.